All right, let's talk moldorm. Moldorm is annoying. So I want to break it down into three phases. One is you getting off the platform to get the first hit. Second phase is getting the 4 hits before he gets aggroed, and then we'll talk about the final hit when he's going like 5 times as fast as he should. So when you do this dash, this will happen. He likes to meet you at the bottom. Sometimes you will clink off of him because his head counts as a hitbox and he keeps you up top. I will tell you it's safe to do this dash, but sometimes he'll block you. I generally just jump off and I'll take a damage boost just to get on the platform, so that way I'm not stuck. Because he'll aggro like right where you're jumping off, and then it'll take you like 3 or 4 times to fall off, and it's stupid. So I'd rather just take the hit, but obviously that's not going to happen in this scenario. And I'm just going to try to get one little cheesy slash off. So that's like, helps when you make a save state properly. Another scenario is he kind of is just at the top and he goes straight down at you. Like that. And then you kind of move to the right. I just heard it done. I hope we're still recording. Be careful of that. You see how he kind of did his loop clockwise there? He sometimes has caught me out of it. So I just want to warn you that he can sometimes trick you on when he's going to turn to avoid him. And he turns a little bit earlier than you expect. So there's a little bit of aggro to it, but sometimes he'll turn to the left, and then you'll have no problem of going around. And then obviously the other scenario, well, that's an example where I don't want to clink, right? I'm fortunate he didn't hurt me, but I purposely did not do a dash off so I can hit him. The other scenario is he's just chilling over here in the worst spot ever because it's dangerous. We'll have a discussion when we do the next section about how to deal with him there. So I'll say if you can maybe get a little free stab as he's doing one of his turns like this, then maybe it's worth getting him. But otherwise, I will show you how to aggro him out of that corner. Oh, it looks like he's doing it now. Oh, no, he didn't. So, all right. So first thing I want to talk about with moldorm is that only his head is a hurt box. Look, I can just walk. Well, I walked into his head there. But do you see how I can like walk through his body without a problem? His tail, his second segment, like all those segments don't hurt me. And I can just walk inside him. So he kind of generally does 2 turns like that, and you see he aggros towards you. Now the thing is, when he bounces off of a wall, it counts as finishing the decision. So it's kind of like 1 turn, and then he aggros. Sometimes it's 1 full turn and then an aggro. See, that's an aggro right there. That's a turn, and aggro. Turn, that bounce, turn, and see, sometimes it resets. Like the aggro bounces, so it's not perfect. But in general, I'm looking for 1 or 2 turns and then an aggro like that. See how he kind of like straightens out? He'll straighten. Nope, he's not doing it. There he goes. That's a straight turn. So, pretty simple. If he is turning, you want to be inside him, so that way you can do just a cheeky slash like this, and it helps when it's in the center. Let me see if I can get, no, I can get, let me see if I can get him over here. If I stand here, see how he did that turn up, and I kind of just waited behind him? He's either going to clockwise or counterclockwise out of a thing, like that. But the problem is, if he's by an edge, you don't know what he's going to do next. You don't know if he's going to chase after you or... Okay, so here's a good example. See how I kind of just walk right inside him? Now I'm going to back away because I don't know what he's going to do. He might have aggroed right at me, or he's going to bounce off the walls, which he is. But you see how he's going back against that wall over there? I'm going to assume he's going to charge at me soon. So my goal, instead of holding right to just run away from him like it's a horror movie, I'm going to press up to go perpendicular to him and then slash him with the tail. See how I kind of went around him there? So then you go for the fast one. Unfortunately, I was a little too early. His tail wasn't vulnerable when I first tried to go for the dash through. Alright, so this is a bad scenario. What you can do is get a spin attack. So you got two choices when you deal with him over here. Do you want to try to get him out from that edge? Or do you want to try to do a spin attack when he pushes away from you? See how I kind of hide behind the hole and then get a spin attack off? See how free that is? It helps when you hold away from the hole. Let me make a save state over here. But essentially, what I'm saying is, if he bounces off of this hole here, right? He's going to go in the opposite direction 90% of the time. And so I can chill at the top of this hole when he bounces and then hit his tail right there. So that's option one. The other option is you make sure that the hole is not in between you. You actually stand close to here. You see how he kind of went towards me there? I'm trying to do the opposite of trying to get into aggro into the bad area. He's not listening right now. Okay, there we go. It's honestly pretty uncommon for him to hang out over here. All right. So by standing low, he aggroed out of there. Did you see that? So he stood about here was when he wanted to aggro, and I stood here, not having the hole in the center of us. And that's why he chased there. So he aggroed and aggro. See how he's going around the hole? That's because I'm standing lower than the hole and not keep having it in between us. And obviously. So let's talk about dashing through him. It is kind of a bit of a coin toss of whether you're going to successfully get through him or he's going to damage you at it. I recommend only doing it on the last hit because of how fast he is. There's less of a chance of it. But in certain scenarios, when he's running straight at you and you don't want to walk around him, you can definitely dash through him. And do you see the height that I am? I'm a little bit higher than him. This would be a perfect height that I would dash through. And what I do is I hold my sword out, and then I dash. The key is when you are dashing in place or holding A to get ready to dash, you actually don't interact with him. He kind of just goes through you. It's really weird, especially when you're just standing in place. And so this is normally how I go for the last hit. Try to get him to attack me, and then I just hold A, and then he'll just go right through me, and then I'll hit his tail. If I miss, or I clink, the first thing I do when I miss, let's say he was down here and he's like running right through me here, and I miss, I slash immediately to the right and start over again. I'm ready to be in a scenario where I can dash in place, so that way I can do it. Sometimes the turnaround slash will catch him because he'll like be bouncing off of these walls, and I'll catch his tail. But otherwise, I am getting ready. I did not make a good save state. We talked about this. So I didn't do it. This is the one I'm just going to take a hit. So let's make a save state here. So he's going to kind of be aggroed immediately. The key is to stand in a place that you can react to what he's going to do. So that was actually very kind. So you see how I'm going to do this. If he bounces off the hole and then starts moving up left into the bad area, I am purposely putting myself in a place where if he is going to aggro towards me, he's going to not hit the hole. Fortunately, he just aggroed right off of that, and so I was able to dash in place right next to him and catch him. If I wasn't talking and recognized the situation, I would have probably moved a little bit higher because his head was like right about here, and I probably would have preferred to do it around here, but I got lucky and got him around here. But that's just an example. So I got slash. So now he's too close to the wall in this. So now we're going back to 2 through 5, right? So I'm going to wait here. See how I went around him? He aggroed right, and I went perpendicular to him, which is kind of like an up left, and was able to slash him. Now that he's in the center, I'm going to kind of stand right behind his head. He's either going to go clockwise or counterclockwise, and I'm going to follow him. Still in the center. Follow. Now that when you see his tail like really go right into his head really quickly, I know that this is the aggro phase. Or you can count to 6 or 5 hits, and this will be the 6th hit. I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before because it's the weird scenario. I'm going to assume he's going to aggro towards me after bouncing a wall, and I don't want the hole to be in the way. Perfect. If you wanted to be aggressive, you could try to dash right here when he's going to start to do his run. You're only going to save like 10 or 15 frames, so I just say wait in that place for him. So I'm going to wait. See how I'm like 2 tiles away? This is where I think is the comfort zone of whether you're going to see whether he's going to turn or he's going to aggro towards you. So he aggroed, so I can back away. I think that's really important. It's kind of unfortunate I keep getting this like same pattern here. But that time I ended up getting the dash out. If I did not hit him there, I would have turned right and immediately pulled out my sword and seen when he was going to charge at me again. It's very easy to miss if you're going to try to dash at him. So just be ready to turn around and sword. And generally you want to go left to right. You can dash up or down through him on the last hit, but in general, I don't recommend it. I kind of like just dashing in place. Let's get another scenario. I feel like I kind of did that a little jumbly, but I think I kind of took out the second and third phase at the same time. Alright, so I'm going to wait here. Probably going to aggro. No? That's an aggro. Now he's going to turn. I'm gonna hold. Nope. See, I missed. I should have actually done that sooner. It was fortunate that he ran away, but I should have slashed sooner in that scenario. But you saw the first thing I did was I tried to move up here. That way, if he ever does go into this area, like move down and bounce off this wall, his aggro would be to the right, where I would be, right? If I'm standing up here, this whole area would aggro towards me instead of bouncing off this hole. If I was standing in the center and he moved to here, he would bounce off of this hole. I just want to try to create a new scenario. I'll make a save state here. Oh. Probably going to go left. Let's do a spin attack setup. Nope, I tried. Yeah, you kind of want to be a little bit closer when you do that. You see how he's bouncing off the hole there? I think it's okay. See that spin? That's a good one. Your spin attack is a big square. Do not be afraid to hang by a hole there if he is like really ping-ponging like high. If you don't feel comfortable standing around here to try to aggro him off and he's really in this tight area, waiting by this hole to hide, maybe even away, I don't know, it might be a little dangerous, is good. Because then once he bounces off of this wall, you can sneak a spin attack and catch him. It's hard when you have to be in the middle of the fight. That one you could be aggressive. This is one where he's in the center, so I can catch him by going like this. He's going to aggro, and I'm holding A in place. So I got him right about here. I'm waiting to see what happens. This is going to be a little bit annoying. Let's do some spin attacks. He actually aggroed out of it. I was wondering if he was going to go to the left side so I could show that off. But really wait until he aggros towards you to dash. It's almost guaranteed that you're going to get him. So whether you are dashing in place or you actually are going to get the dash off to meet him. And make sure that you don't do it too early. His tail is not vulnerable until he's like moved like 3 or 4 tiles. And I want to show you an example of that. Oh, well, that's unfortunate when I can't count. Nope, not yet. See, that was too soon. His tail was not vulnerable yet. You know what? Let me make a save state for the last hit, I guess. There's one more after this. See? That didn't count. Doesn't count. Too early. Still too early. Still too early. that was good enough. So how far does he have to move there? If his tail is vulnerable here, he has to move like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 to 7 tiles if he's going to go straight at you, right? That's something to really notice. That's actually very important. I didn't think it was going to be that long. And I'm catching like the end of this tile, right? Because his tail is right here. So that's kind of pretty important. And so the other thing obviously is safe to just like hold your sword and hold left against this. I think you guys know about this, but essentially if you hold your sword and you're clinking, if you're holding down away from here, you'll never fall off unless it hurts you. Be careful around corners where you can hold diagonal against it. So if I get pushed against the right wall here, this wall, then I would have had to hold left. But if I had to get pushed against the top wall, then I would have to hold down. So be careful around corners for that. But no, that's actually very good information. It's kind of crazy, right? You see how I quickly... This is all dashing in place when I hit him. And if I was too slow, it's like, oh shoot, I'm holding left, and then bam, he bounce off. Alright, I think that's a good amount from Moldorm. If you have any questions at all, feel free to comment about it. But I think a lot of people don't know about that spin attack. If you see him bounce off the hole here and like move back up, you are going to be able to catch his tail. So it gives you both options of he's really like stuck in this area and you can't get a good aggro where he comes out of the corner, is that you have an option to fight him. So, all right, good luck, guys. Let me know if you have any questions.